Gotta get up. The Big Show on Kiss 92. Gotta get up.
Happy Thursday. Oh, wait, let me say happy at work Thursday. It is one more sleep to the long weekend. It's another long weekend. And it is the final Thursday of 2023. And we are so glad to have Adrian Choo back in Singapore after a lovely holiday in Finland. How was it?
It was fun. It was too cold. It was like minus 21 degrees at some point.
It's very cold.
It was, it's for us Singaporeans, even at 25 degrees, we break out the sweaters.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
the office, right?
Absolutely.
So when it got really cold, all of us were like jumping out of the coach, taking photographs and rushing back
into the coach.
Back into the coach again.
Nice and warm.
Yeah, it was just at such temperatures were really, really cold. But it's one of those things where you have to do once in your life.
But how was the trip?
The trip was good.
Did you make good memories?
Yes, lots of it. Managed to catch the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights. So that was really lucky.
I saw the pictures of that. Very nice.
I heard that a lot of people, sometimes if you're not lucky, you spend 7 days there, you don't
catch it. Yeah.
And you managed to capture it on pictures as well, which a lot of people don't.
And that's funny because I'm going to do a pitch for the iPhone here.
Okay, please, go ahead.
I'm an Android user.
Yeah.
None of my pictures came out, so I had to borrow the iPhones from my fellow tourists.
Oh, really? Okay.
Take a photo of me, please.
Oh.
It didn't come out right.
Android wasn't catching.
My Samsung wasn't catching.
But there are many types of Androids.
Yeah.
But the iPhones, they really caught the pictures really nicely. So.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Well, glad you got those memories. Okay, speaking of memories, today we're going to be looking back on 2023. Tell us a little bit more, Adrian.
Yeah, I know as the year comes to a close, and I always ask myself, what happened to 2023? It went so fast.
Yeah, it did.
Only 4 more days.
Yeah, it's amazing, So as 2023 comes to a close, a lot of people out there are wondering, even as they're clearing their leave right now, they're wondering what's up for 2024. And if you look back at 2023, what can we say were some of our proudest achievements in 2023? What have we achieved? And how should we plan for 2024 ahead? Because next year will be a bit tricky. We are not out of the woods yet. Post-COVID, everything's pretty okay. But if you look around, the retrenchments are still going on. A lot of uncertainty in the market. The Ukraine war is going to its 3rd year.
Yeah.
Right? It's a never-ending war. And the economy looks a bit questionable as well.
Israel and Hamas also looks no
helping.
end in sight as well.
Yeah. So it's complicated. So today I was wondering whether or not it was, whether or not we should, what can we do to make 2024 better? And how do we look back at 2023 and see where we went right, where we went wrong? How do we make things better for next year?
So what sort of questions should we be asking ourselves if we look back at 2023?
I think one of the biggest things is to ask ourselves, what were some things we did right in this year? What have we achieved?
Like, be grateful, right?
Yeah, because sometimes when we are asked to look back at our year that's gone by, we tend to think about what went wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what we didn't achieve. But I think we should pat ourselves on the back. In fact, if you look at it, we should pat ourselves on the back for the past 3 years. It's been rough since 2020, since COVID came. And, if you look at it, we came out of it pretty okay.
We did. Most of us did, yeah.
Think about this, right? 2020. I think 2019, end of 2019, was it that we started hearing about COVID?
Yeah.
And then going into 2020.
Yeah.
Guys, we're heading into 2024. It's been 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, where has that time gone?
Yeah.
I can remember hearing about COVID for the very first time sometime around Christmas 2019.
Yeah.
And then in 2020 was when I remember it was February 7th when we went from Doors Gone Green to Orange because I was hosting an event on that day.
And that's where, remember all the toilet paper hoarding?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
And that was 4 years ago.
I know people who still haven't bought toilet paper from then.
Ew. Oh, that don't need to.
Yeah, it's
right,
all
right.
been in the storeroom.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's continue to talk about what we can be grateful for 2023 and how we can make 2024 better. Here's Taylor Swift. Yeah, she's going to be in town in March. Is it over now? On Kiss 92. Okay, so how do we reflect?
Okay, well, one of the things is, what have we achieved in the past year? I mean, what's your proudest achievement? Maybe I can ask FD, what have you?
My proudest achievement was, honestly, this year was coming here.
Yeah, same.
It was coming here and discovering, because I was very, very worried, coming here and discovering I actually enjoy it.
Oh wow!
Because I thought, oh, new music, new concept. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I came here and I went, damn, the music's good. I actually enjoy this.
Wow.
And that for me was an achievement.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
Personal
initially,
achievement.
when you first came on board, there was a lot of
lot of worry.
worry, fear,
There
concern.
was a lot of concern. There was a lot of fear.
Okay.
But I have been proven wrong.
Yeah. And I think a lot of fear that we often face is more psychological
Yeah.
Yeah.
than the actual fear itself, right?
It's something that we were talking about the other day too. I think I overthought.
Over worry and
I
overthought.
overthought the change.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, it's this going to go wrong, that's going to go wrong, this is going to go wrong, that's going to go wrong, rather than, oh my gosh, there's a possibility to do this, there's a possibility to do that. So, like everyone else, negative first, positive second. And I think it was a good thing to be proved wrong, and to me, it's an achievement.
Wow.
Yeah, it
How
is
about
an
you,
achievement.
Angel?
I'd say the biggest achievements for me this year would also be moving to Kiss 92
Wow.
and keeping the team together.
Wow.
And building the team into the dream team that we've always thought it would be.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was the three of us, and obviously like Shalini and then now Cheyenne's added to the team. So it's kind of got a really great dynamics now that we almost know each other inside out when it comes to working together. And then of course there's Tofu. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Tofu was a big achievement as well, because we took a long time to decide, firstly to get a dog, and secondly to choose Tofu. And this was all done virtually. So and we can't imagine life without him now.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
nice.
so that was a big achievement for us.
That's fun.
Yeah.
You know, the thing talking about the move to Kiss 92, a lot of times there is no growth unless there is you're put in a condition or situation where you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To challenge yourself, right?
So that's why, but the human nature is such, our human nature is such that we don't like change, we don't like discomfort, and as a result, we try to avoid what's uncomfortable, and inadvertently, what happens is that we don't grow. So, what I like to advise our clients, and even for myself, is put yourself in a condition, in a place where it's uncomfortable, not terribly uncomfortable to the point where it kills you, but in a place of discomfort, because a lot of times discomfort equals growth.
And I think when you get into a place of discomfort, you really discover how strong you are.
Yeah.
Your strength really comes through.
Yeah.
And sometimes if that strength doesn't come through, it's okay to back down. I feel.
Yes.
Like we
It's
were
okay.
we were talking to Dr. Jerry, and not to hijack your topic for today, but we were talking to her 2 days ago, and she gave us some homework, and I think this homework can also be used on career.
Yes.
You know, so she went through the 3 S's and the 2 C's. So start, stop, suspend, continue, change. So what are you going to start next year, stop next year, suspend next year, just put on hold.
put on hold.
And then what are you going to continue to do,
Yeah.
and then what are you going to change? And I think when it comes to career planning, that also works.
That's true.
The
That's
3
true.
the 3 S's and the 2 C's.
That's true. I love Dr. Jerry. She's
Yes.
learned a lot of stuff from her. as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
really good. And I think it's nice to have the 3 S's and the 2 C's.
Yeah.
The tricky part comes from what then do you apply it to? What do you start? What do you stop? What do you suspend?
But I guess it could be anything, right? Like you, maybe I stop talking over the guys.
Yeah, it could
You
be
know,
whatever,
I have that consciously in my head to stop interrupting,
True.
for example.
And,
You know?
and that's where I think to take that a bit further. Sometimes there are things that we don't know. We don't know that we don't know. So sometimes that's why feedback from people around you helps as well. So for me, I always like it when people tell me, "Hey, Adrian, you should stop doing this."
Yeah.
Or Adrian, you should be doing more of that.
There you go. Yeah.
So knowing what to SSS or CC.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of wisdom involved. And if you have a mentor, or if you have someone who, or even if you're just self-aware,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty useful as well.
Yeah.
But I like that model. Actually.
Right? The
It's
three
really
S's.
good.
I think you can borrow that because I don't know where she got it from. I'm sure she took it from somewhere
I'm not
else.
going to borrow it. I'm going to steal it.
Steal it, yeah. Because I think it works in all parts of our lives.
Yes.
It could work in a relationship as well. It could work between parents and children.
Yeah.
Stop nagging so much, start listening, or something. I think it really gels well with all situations.
Yeah. And one of the things when we look back at 2023 as well is what are the things that we have learned or picked up as well? What new skills? Like for myself, I've picked up a lot of video editing skills this year. I've been doing a lot of it.
Okay.
In fact, all our episodes on LinkedIn Live every Friday, we've put it onto Spotify the channel. In fact,
Right.
for our listeners who are on Spotify right now, if you look at the career strategists, we have
Nice.
all 80 episodes on
Wow.
that many topics uploaded to Spotify, and it's getting a lot of traction.
As a podcast, right?
As a podcast.
That's great.
Because I realized that a lot of people nowadays consume information on the go.
They
Yes.
do. They do.
And on Spotify, it acts as a central repository for us. So any topic you want to, you just pop in there, you look at it. Maybe I'll learn about negotiating salary. There's a topic on there. So it helps our listeners and our clients as well. Just have a like a central library repository of all the knowledge.
Actually, that's a very good idea.
It is.
Yeah, that's a super good idea.
You need one place that people can turn to look at and whenever they need. Okay, let's go to traffic and then we'll come back and talk about
What we've learned.
What we've learned, yeah.
Yeah.
Sucker for you. I'm a sucker for you.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Okay, quite a few situations. I think the roads might be wet. On the ECP towards the city at the Bedok South Avenue 1 entrance, look out for an accident vehicle. Also on the SLE towards the CTE before the TPE entrance, an obstacle has been spotted. And finally, same on the SLE towards the CTE, but this time after the Lento Avenue exit, a vehicle has broken down. Look out for those situations and stay safe. Okay, we're back. This is The Big Show with Angel and the Flying Dutchman. And we've got Adrian Choo, our career strategist for Happy at Work Thursday. And we're talking about looking back on the year, being appreciative and thinking about all the things that we've learned.
Yeah. And when as we are looking back at things that we've learned, new skills and everything, Abdi, are there any new skills that you've picked up?
I haven't learnt a new skill. But what I have learnt, and I find it shocked me when I stopped to think about it. I've always been a little weary of the young. Not weary, but wary.
Wary, yeah.
Of the young.
Sometimes you get weary as well.
Yeah, that's just age.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, of the young, especially coming in. Because I hate to say this, but a lot of older people, and I just want to say that I was wrong, I'll publicly admit it. We have this preconceived notion that they're entitled. We put all these things on them. These labels on them.
Yeah.
But I tell you what I've learned. If you allow them to express themselves, if you allow them to experiment, while you remain behind them, open to help them, you will be surprised at what they can achieve. It is really quite amazing. Because when they're given that freedom of expression, they are incredibly driven. Incredibly driven. And that's what I learned in 2023.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to note also because when we first started out working, the generation before us couldn't understand us as well.
Exactly.
They thought we were entitled as well. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it goes around. I still remember when my first job, I was in Shell. My boss was considerably older than I was. Yeah, he actually said that, you young punks, and he would preface every word, everything is you young punks think you know everything.
Yeah.
Y'all haven't lived through anything at all.
Yeah,
You don't know nuts.
and now it's our turn going like, get off our lawn, we are the
But I
grandpa
think
now.
that's the same with every generation.
Every generation.
Every generation. I mean, our parents used to say that to us. We say that to our children now.
Yeah.
And our children are going to say that to their children. Because times change. Things never remain the same.
That's true.
And that's the beauty of it.
It's not only that. I think a lot of people forget where they came from.
Yeah.
You forget where you came from. That's the thing. And that's something I've driven into my children. Never forget where you came from.
Yeah. Okay,
very
let's talk a little bit more about career and children,
Yeah.
if you want, on the Big Show TV. It is now coming up to 8:15.
Kiss 92 time check brought to you by
One of the things I like to measure success by, it's not money. Money is just money. Money is just money. It's how many people you've impacted
Yeah.
in the year past.
Yeah.
And for me, that's always been the biggest measure of how successful as career agility we've become. I love that we are scaling up. I love that we are helping a lot more people now. But one thing I like also is that for the team here, for the Big Show, having moved from the previous station to Kiss 92, it's a much bigger platform.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
And you've impacted a lot more people.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I like to see us. I mean, whenever we turn the microphones on, we always tell ourselves that it has to be something people can learn.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be stupid jokes. It doesn't, it always has to be smart.
But even if it's silly jokes, right?
Yeah.
I always find that the reason why I tune into radio rather than Spotify is because of the hosts, the DJs.
There's
Of
an
course,
interaction.
This interaction, and it brings a smile to my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I find, in terms of impact, it's not just in terms of learning.
Yeah.
It's what's new to learn.
And lifting your mood.
Uplifting, yeah, it's just amazing.
No, when I say silly jokes, it's not like stupid poking fun at a particular person, which a lot of people like to do, which I like to, which I think is bullying. But when I say silly jokes, they have to be the smart jokes. The you can be silly.
Yeah.
I mean, I leave it to the guys to be silly because they're experts at that. But like, they can go ahead and be silly if they want, But I think education, hoping that people learn and take away something positive and being positive all the time.
I think that's really important. And I've noticed it because you get more people who go, thank you for what you do. You're a joy to listen to in the morning.
Yeah.
It's little lines like that, I'll be honest, that mean the world to us.
So how
They
can we
really
be
do.
better for 2024?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
the
we
question.
already do so much.
Yeah.
I'm not. When I say we, I don't mean we. I mean we as a people.
People.
And I think that's where we need to spend the last couple of days of 2023 thinking about 2024. What do we
Oh my
want
gosh,
to
so
do?
tiring though. Don't worry, I just want to have champagne. That's it.
Think about so there's some basic things we need to start thinking about in terms of career.
Okay.
I think one of the most basic things is what we call your career velocity.
Ooh.
What do you mean by that? How fast is that what we're talking about? How
Yeah.
fast
The
I'm going to
speed?
progress?
Yeah, the speed. The speed. I'll be a physics nerd here. Velocity is not just about speed, but velocity is a vector, which means there's direction involved.
You are a nerd right now.
I'm a
Okay.
nerd,
Yeah, man. Ooh.
It's the what involved?
It's direction.
Direction.
So
Okay.
speed is in any direction, but velocity is in a particular direction.
Oh.
So
okay.
there's a difference between speed and velocity in terms of physics.
Okay.
I had
Okay.
no
Okay.
idea. I
And
didn't know.
engineers listening out there,
Thank you.
I did
Thank you
not
very
know.
much, sir.
I thought it was just like velocity.
Yeah, I know, just a fancy word
Yeah,
for
yeah,
speed, right?
yeah.
But
It's not.
velocity includes a direction in one direction. So
Okay.
So when it comes to velocity, career velocity, we start thinking about next year. What do you want to do? Do you want to speed up? Do you want to hover? Or maybe you want to downshift?
Okay.
So that's one of the things. And what's the reasons behind it? For instance, if you have an elderly parent, or if you have a child who's having the exams, and you think, okay, next year maybe I'll put my acceleration plans on hold.
So it's a hover.
It's a hover,
Right,
Or
okay.
maybe I'm thinking about, or my kids all grown up already. They finished their exams and everything, the school. Maybe next year is a year I accelerate and I push up.
And I think about me, right?
Yeah, I think about me now. Maybe, it's like, maybe I want to focus on my studies for next year. I get a master's or something. Maybe I want to downshift.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think one of the most important things for next year is to decide on your overall career velocity, whether you want to accelerate, whether you want to hover or you want to downshift. And then you start making plans accordingly.
But it also matters what's happening in your private life, right? Because from what you
Yeah.
said, it depends whether the kids are at exams or at school, or I want to do something with my studies.
Yeah.
So there's always a personal element involved.
And I think it's for most of us, I particularly those of you that are in a relationship, whether it be in or out of marriage, it is not a decision you make on your own.
Yeah.
Surely,
It's
it's
never.
never.
You're
It is
right. You're
it
right.
is a discussion, because whatever decision you make is going to affect the
Of
other
course.
people within your circle.
Of course, yeah. Because
Yeah.
if you're a 2-income household,
Yeah,
then if you want to downshift,
yeah.
financially things are going to shift, right?
Yeah, of
So you
course.
need to speak to your partner and see if they're
Or
comfortable
if you
with that.
want to accelerate,
Yeah.
then who's going to take care of all the kids and everything
Or
else? right?
everything that's happening in the house, the
Yeah.
helper.
Yeah. Outsource
Yeah.
it.
Because that's what people do,
Yeah,
right?
you
The
might have
helper.
to- then you might have to outsource it. See? So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and you need.
And outsourcing also affects your finances,
It comes
Yes,
with a
correct.
cost.
right?
So, and if you accelerate your career, you might have to travel more. You might have to be at the office longer. You might have to be more stressful, more grumpy. Right? And then you need to have your spouses or your partners buy in on it as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you're absolutely right. No, it's a team sport.
It's
But,
team sport.
but if
yeah.
you have nobody else in your life,
then you can.
then
Yeah.
it's fine. You don't have
but
to
you
think
got to
about
check.
it.
We got to check with tofu and.
That is true.
Yeah.
He'll be missing you when you're working late
Yes.
at
No,
night.
because
Yes.
that's the other thing. Even if you're single, and it's simple, if you've got a pet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
velocity is going to affect your pet.
Absolutely.
It will.
Absolutely.
Who's
Yeah.
There's a lot for you to consider.
Yeah.
So I think velocity is one.
Okay.
And it's velocity. You have to think not just into 2024, but 2025, 2026 as well.
So your velocity, sorry, just to go back,
Yeah.
your velocity is not necessarily moving forward. Your velocity can also be downshifting, because you said it's the speed
Yeah.
and the direction in
Yeah.
which you go, right?
Yeah.
So the speed doesn't mean
You
fast.
could reverse even.
It
if
could
you
be
wanted
slow
to.
as well.
And you could absolutely reverse.
Okay.
So I know an individual who sit down, he's 52, CFO, did his numbers and everything. And he said, shucks, I don't need to work anymore. My kids are all grown up and everything. I'm just going to downshift and reverse direction and take a smaller role, smaller
Nice.
pay. But, in a meaningful organization. So he joined a charity.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's more meaningful for him. So it's a downshift in
Right.
salary, downshift in title, downshift in responsibilities. But it's more meaningful, and he gets to go home at 5 every day and play with.
but
the
that's
kids
your
and-
that's your hierarchy of needs, right?
Yeah,
What is
yeah,
the
the Maslow's hierarchy. right?
Maslow's, where you start
So
giving
it's-
back, right?
Yeah, so I think ultimately it's about strategy. It's about your career strategy, appropriate to your phase or your stage in life or your season in life. A lot of people think that I must accelerate all the way, but it comes to a point in time where will that extra $2,000 a month
Make up for it.
the extra 50% travel I need to do? For
Yeah,
example.
exactly.
Right, then it comes to a point. So one question I always ask our clients is this: when we talk about career strategy and velocity, is number one, if someone gave you a job which is double the pay for double the stress, will you take it?
Yeah. Okay, let's ask that
Okay, let's
question
ask that
on air.
question. Yeah.
Going to traffic.
Kiss 92 traffic.
A couple of situations to look out for. The first is on the PIE towards the airport. At the ECP airport exit, an accident has been reported. Also, another accident on the ECP, but this time heading towards the city at the Bedok South Avenue 1 entrance. And finally, on the BKE heading west towards Woodlands after the KJE exit, look out for a vehicle that's broken down. If you spot anything, it's 88550920. It's the Big Show with Angel and the Flying Dutchman, and we have, of course, with us Cheyenne as well as Adrian Choo of Career Agility. And today we're talking about looking back, looking forward, and we were just coming off the Big Show TV talking about velocity.
Before we get back to Adrian, Mal says, yes, I remember my secondary school physics.
Yeah.
Velocity.
Oh, right. Okay. Good for you, Mo.
Well done, Mal. So, velocity.
So velocity, we need for 2024, we need to decide what our career velocity is, whether we want to accelerate, whether we want to hover, or whether we want to downshift. And it's important because when you decide on this element of your career strategy first, then all the other sub choices that come along the way will make sense.
Sub choices. I like your choice of words.
So you got a major choice. I choose. I choose to accelerate. Therefore, as a result, what are the options? The options are basically, if a job comes along, which is a bigger job, then yeah, I'll take it.
But your choose to accelerate is also based on the situation at home.
Yes, and what
Right?
we always believe at Career Agility is this: your career strategy has to sit on your personal life strategy.
So which comes first?
I always say life strategy comes first.
Okay.
Life first.
Family, home.
Family first.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
myself personally and
Yeah.
for Yen as well, it's always family first.
And everything is
Everything
built on
else
top
is
of
Built
that.
on top of that.
Because if you have a good foundation
Yeah.
and you're going home to a happy home,
Yeah.
it's always nice to be able to open that door and not dread it, right?
Because your family is your foundation.
yeah.
But once again, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
So
Some
there's
people
no right
do
or
it the
wrong.
other way.
Yeah, it's no right or wrong. But for us, we always believe that it's family first. But what I always say is, your career strategy has to sit nicely on your life strategy at that point in time. And if your family foundations and everything says that no, it's fine, let's accelerate, then you can choose the acceleration path. But acceleration sometimes comes at a cost. For instance, if you want to expect double the salary, you got to be ready to put in double the effort or more sometimes. So the other question is, are you ready for it? Is your family ready for it? Is your spouse or partner ready for it? Are you emotionally or even physically ready for it?
What if you end up making that decision of acceleration and then things change in the life section of your life? What happens then? I mean, how do you've made a massive decision
Yeah.
to do something and then the foundation starts
Messes
to
up.
crack?
Yeah, then it's where you have to sit
Marriage
down and
counselling.
decide. Yeah, marriage counseling. No, interestingly, I had this client who wanted to accelerate. Okay, she was in her late 40s and she wanted to accelerate again because all my kids are grown up. And she took on a job which was really big, a lot of travel. And you know what? She got pregnant.
Oh, congratulations.
Well
So she went. She said, "Oh, that true was planning the works, but it's a happy problem." She said,
Yes,
it's a happy
exactly.
problem. So she wound down, told the boss and everything. Look, I changed the strategy. Whoops,
That must have been the congratulatory celebrations right,
Right
there, right?
Hey, well, I'm accelerating, boop. No, I'm
and
not
then
anymore.
6 weeks later, you're like, oh, well, maybe not.
So, with this velocity, do I look at 2024 as an entire year? Do I break it down into quarters, into 6 months? How do...
In fact, I would think that what you said is really, really sharp. I want to take it, not break it down into quarters, but I want to break it down into 24, 25, 26, into 3 years.
So, but a
longer
yearly...
term, a longer
oh,
term stretch.
Okay.
Okay. Like one thing I always find very, very amusing is when George Lucas wrote Star Wars, A New Hope, right? He called it Episode 4. Because he knew back there he was going to have a 5, 6,
Six, yeah.
and then a 1, 2, 3 again, you see.
Yeah.
So he had a huge story arc planned out already. So when it comes to career strategy, it's not just about 2024, but how will 2024 sit in the 2025, 2026 bigger picture of your own career strategy
Wow.
as you work
Right.
towards retirement. So
That might be hard for people to sit down and go, I don't know what the next 3 years
and
looks
most of
like.
us wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And that's where we gotta start planning and start thinking about it. Because when you start thinking about it, things start happening, things start falling into place. That's
Manifestation.
Why, yeah, and that's why on January 13th, Jan 13th next year, we're having the Career Success Workshop at SPH.
Yep.
Over here, we're gonna talk about career strategy, career planning for the next 3 to 5 years of your career even. And these are the topics we'll be covering: your career velocity, your career direction, all these elements when we put together. In fact, we have put together a career journal, which we're going to launch.
Nice.
Yeah, I
on
think
the
that's
day
brilliant,
itself. Everything all in one place in a book, where you can, it's almost like a workbook where you can just run through all 50 exercises.
And anyone who signs up for this workshop will get the journal?
Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's happening at the SPH Auditorium, which is right where we are, on the 13th of January. It's a Saturday between 9 and 5 p.m. It is a full day event. You'll get lunch, you'll get refreshments, training materials, and that career journal will be provided. You can head to our website, kiss92.sg, to find out more, or head to Adrian's website.
Yeah, careeragility.org/happy
Happy at work. Okay.
So here's the thing I want to say about this, and you've said this. We're looking at 24, 25, 26. We're looking at even up to 5 years. I've found this in my career of owning a company and interviewing people. A lot of the young don't know how to do that. They don't know how to look 5 years ahead. And that's why this workshop is very important. Though it's for everyone, it is very important for the young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
Because that's where
for the
they're
young.
just starting out, right?
Yeah.
So
you need to learn how to plan.
yeah.
It's not something that comes naturally.
Okay, let's chat more on The Big Show TV. Join us on YouTube and Facebook at Kiss 92. Right now, here's Carol G on Kiss 92. Yeah, because I mean, like planning 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and then the rug gets pulled out from under you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always what I think, because I'm not by far an pessimistic person. You know, I'm very idealistic and very over optimistic, but I always do know that there's the realistic side of life
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
That something can go wrong while you're making all those plans.
Yeah. and I like, for me, I plan a lot. I started Career Agility International in 2018 together with Yen. But I had this idea for Career Agility as early as 2012. So it took me 6 years to plan for me to come out of corporate, to run my own business, and to build my networks, my contacts, my knowledge.
Because you can't just quit and then say, oh, I'm going to start something. You need to already have it in the works, right?
True, and along the way there were bumps, there were
of course.
roadblocks, there were crossroads, there were better offers that came along, and I had to decide what I wanted to do. But if I had not done the original roadmap of sorts in 2012, I would not be where I am today.
Yeah.
And interestingly for me, I find that having a half-baked plan is better
Is
than
a plan.
having no plan at all.
I think having a plan takes the guesswork out of it.
Yes.
But it always changes. Like lots of people do business plans that will evolve. You
And
know?
you've got to understand that plan has to evolve because life is ever changing. So the plan has to evolve.
Yeah.
You cannot do that kind of plan. I don't think you can set it in stone.
Yeah, and the U.S. Marines has a rule which they say that no battle plan survives the first contact with the enemy. Which means that you can plan everything you want, but once bullets start flying,
yeah.
your original plan to take this
It's out the
range to
window.
run this out the
Yeah.
window, you just wing it. But you have a general idea of objectives, and you just run with it. I still think a half-baked plan is better than no plan at all. Because when things happen, and then for me, I plan for. I'm quite kiasu, so I plan for contingencies. I plan for failures.
Okay.
So if this doesn't work out. So in 2018, when I started Career Agility, my wife looked at me and said, "Are you sure you're going to start your own business? You've done it before, it didn't work out." And I said, "Well, I give us 6 months. If it doesn't work out, I've got plan A and plan B."
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So contingency planning is also a plan.
Right.
Okay. What about things like, I mean, you're talking about plans for X amount of years forward, 24, 25, 26, it could be even 5 years forward. What about things like personal targets? Because that's part of the plan as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Things like maybe skills that you need to upgrade, or, financial targets that you need to meet because you want to buy that house or something like that. What kind of targets should we be setting?
I think whatever's important for you in the long run. So I had a very good question from a client yesterday, and I was discussing with her, and she asked me, when can I retire? And I said, you can retire anytime you want to, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
But the question is whether how much money you have in
Do
the
you
bank.
have
If
enough
you-
money?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to retire with enough money in the bank, then maybe you have to start putting those financial targets in play first, right? So once again, your career strategy has to sit on your life strategy, and your financial strategy is also part of your life strategy as well. So it's all intertwined, and you need to have a coherent life strategy overall. So if you are, and it helps if you're younger, when you're planning for retirement. If you're 30 and you intend to retire in 20 years' time or 25 years' time, you start saving. In fact, there's this movement started a couple of years back called the FIRE movement, the Financial Independence Retire Early movement.
Yeah.
So these are 30-year-olds who I'll not buy any latte at all or any Starbucks frappuccinos.
I'll drink water all day and
drink
eat
water
bread.
all day, eat bread.
Yeah.
Maybe not so bad eating
Yeah.
bread, but you get the point. You
Yeah.
get the point.
So
Yeah.
bread with butter.
Bread
Yeah.
with butter. Yeah, bread with butter.
Ghee, with ghee. Ghee is cheaper.
So it makes sense because if you develop that war chest early,
Yeah.
and imagine if you're at 50 and you have enough to last you quite a way forward. And that's a lot of freedom you can have in terms of retirement.
So you say you have contingency plans like plan A, plan B, C. I don't know how many plans you have in your pocket. But what if something unexpected comes, like a health issue
Yeah.
or a death,
Yeah.
or something that obviously is unforeseen?
Yeah.
How do you plan for something like that? Do you plan for something like that?
I do actually. That's why for me, I am insured to the hilt.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
For
like
myself.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like me.
To the point where I always joke with my wife that I'm worth more dead than alive.
Oh my!
Yeah.
So-
Let's make plans to get in your dependency.
so that's why if my soup tastes funny, I know why.
Oh.
So these are contingency plans as well, and I plan for the worst, hoping for the best, but plan for the worst.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, if you have plans, insurance is really important. Actually,
Yeah.
Actually, I think your career development, one of the things that's really important to successful career development is to have a decent financial consultant behind you, because that takes a lot of pressure.
But not
off
everyone
you.
can afford to have a financial consultant.
You know, quite honestly, almost everyone can. Almost everyone, because everyone thinks, oh, I need 20 policies.
Yeah.
If you've got a smart financial consultant,
yeah.
you need 2.
Yeah.
If you've got a smart one.
Yeah.
But that takes care of if anything happens to me, then what? That worry you don't have anymore.
Yeah, so it's taken
Because
one thing off your
off
list.
your plate,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can really start to focus
Yeah.
on other things.
Yeah, because the financial side, in terms of what if I die, that's taken
It's
care of
taken
for
care
your
of.
family. Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
It's so
because
important.
it is a worry for a lot of people.
It
They're like,
is.
I have to
It
work
is.
so hard to take care of everybody, but then they forget that the backup.
You know what's worse than dying?
What?
Falling sick.
Yes.
Actually, it's more expensive. Actually,
That
I'm
is
Yes.
told
true.
nowadays.
That
Yes.
is true.
It is.
That's what the taxi driver was telling me the other day. He was
Yeah.
saying that it's more expensive for me to fall sick than to die.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about death.
Huh?
It's Happy at Work Thursday here on The Big Show with Adrian Choo of Career Agility International. So we were just talking about how important it is to have backup plans, and backup plans meaning also insurance plans that, take care of anyone who you leave behind, so
yes.
you can take that one worry off your
Yeah,
plate.
yeah.
So we've been talking about like 2023, 2024, but we also want to, because we don't have that much time
Yeah.
left, touch a little bit on the topic that we were talking about yesterday.
Okay, so yesterday we did a story. There's a business that was hiring, and they only wanted to hire married people because youngsters were too immature. If you read the whole story, it goes on to say that certain jobs within that company are handled by men, others by women, because of it's
Strength.
the strength element. Is that legally good? Correct?
Things like marital status, age, gender. Can you put that in your hiring criteria?
It all depends. For the full list of information, if you visit TAFEP, the Tripartite Alliance for Fair Employment Practices website, they list what can be said, what can't be said. And if you deviate from those guidelines, you could get into trouble. But having said that, interestingly, if it's very pro Singaporean, it's very pro. So if you cannot state a particular age, I only want to hire 21 to 25.
You can't.
You're going to get into trouble for that. But you can actually say, and I read the website yesterday, it says that you can state that preference for senior workers because this is a cashier's job or this is something that's suitable for someone. So it's okay if you stipulate that you have a preference for someone who's older.
So it's all about the narrative.
It is.
You've got to
It's the
use the
optics,
clever
right?
words. It's the
Yeah,
optics. Yeah.
Is that because we are an aging society and eventually we are going to have to be hiring older people?
Yes, it
Because we do not have enough young people to hire.
Or is it because the young people just won't sit still at the cashier and they'll be bored? Do you know what I mean? Is that what it is? Or is it because it's an easy job to
It
do?
could be, but all this aside about what you can advertise or what you can't advertise, the truth of it is, when the candidates come to your interview, and if you're dead set on hiring a
20-year-old.
20-year-old, or if you're dead set on hiring a married lady who's like 46, who has a favorite color is pink, or whatever it is, it's up to you. You can still hire or not hire who you like or who you don't like. Because discrimination happens, but the advertisement has to be neutral.
What about marital status? Can you say, I only want married people?
No.
You can't.
I don't think. And
Does it say that in Tuffet?
it doesn't say.
I think
Okay.
it says you should avoid saying that.
But I'm imagining as a potential employee, I'm wondering, why on earth do you want to marry?
Okay, so you've got the ad. What about the forms that get filled up? Because we were talking about this
Yes.
yesterday, and I was all like, on those forms, it's like married, single, divorced, male, female, age, date of birth, this and that. Are they allowed to have all that on the list?
And that's an interesting point because technically, no. Some elements in the employment forms which you apply at companies are non-PDPA compliant, in fact, personal data.
Oh, right.
Right, exactly.
So by right, actually, if you go according to the guidelines, if I apply for a job at this company, and if I don't land a job, within 3 months he should destroy that form because he's got my personal data there.
Oh,
so I can
right.
actually call him up and ask him to destroy it, to say I don't want it there.
FD's got stuff from 2020. he's like, just in case I need this person.
So I can only keep
For 3
forms
months.
for 3 months.
3 or 6 months, or it's my right to insist that, look, I don't want it lying around. So there are a lot of guidelines which are merely that guidelines.
Yeah,
People are not aware of.
Yeah.
No one's gonna get fined for it. But if you do state race, religion, yes, you're gonna get into trouble if you advertise for that. You're gonna get into
Marital
very, very
status?
Marital status, it's a grey area.
Can you choose not to answer it?
Yeah, you can. That's
Can
okay.
I say that in my ad that I'm looking for female sales representatives, 20 to 30-year-olds, because that is my target market.
I think
I want someone who can relate.
you can state female, and if you justify the reasons why, because you're catering to female clients,
Yeah.
it's okay. But if you put a age group there, then it becomes discriminatory. So it all depends a lot on how you phrase it as well. So
Wow.
but the bottom line is this: there's going to be discrimination whether you like it or not.
Yeah, of course.
And if the question is if the company is discriminating against you, then
You can go to MOM.
yeah, good. Or even better still, like, why do I want to work for this stupid company anyway? If it doesn't like
What if I'm sitting in an interview and the interviewer asks me my age?
not supposed to, but they could.
Not supposed to. They're not supposed to say how old you are.
I mean, they could. Okay, in Singapore, you still could, but it's not proper.
But I don't want to answer that.
Yeah, don't want to answer
Why
that.
should it matter?
Yeah, why should it
okay,
matter?
I don't want you anymore. You can leave my room.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, okay, we can go on and on. Any final words for the last Happy at Work for 2023, Adrian?
For our listeners out there, thanks for listening to us. It's been a pleasure sharing these ideas and these anecdotes and jokes with you as well. But our careers are very important to us. I'm sure you've done well in 2023. 2024, we're all wishing you all the best, and we hope that you're going to have a very exciting year ahead. And if you're free on January 13th, do join us for our Career Success Workshop. And I'm looking forward to meeting all of you in person at the workshop itself.
Okay, this is not goodbye. Obviously, Adrian's
no.
gonna.
He'll be back next year.
Yeah, you know,
I'll be back next year.
he's gonna be back in 7 days. It sounds like he's saying goodbye forever. But right now, let's thanks Adrian so much and have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone too.
Okay, here's Lauv and Troy Sivan.